Hi everyone, Jen here for Country Craft Creations today. And today I'm super excited to share with you my By the Seaside album that I created. I did post a sneak peek when I started this and had it all cut out. This has taken me a little longer, and I do have a tutorial that will follow this walkthrough video here really soon in the next couple of days, probably the beginning of next week. If I don't get it done tonight, it'll be the beginning of next week. And I will have the tutorial that shows all of the pages, how I made those, and the different measurements of those as well. But first I wanted to let you know everything that I've used. So I had both the 12 by 12 and 8 by 8, both of which come with 28 sheets, including your die cuts and your cut apart. So I did not use the cut apart, the 2 sheets of cut aparts from the 8 by 8. I did use 1 sheet of the die cuts that you get 2 of, but I used it for the back side, not the die cuts themselves. So in all, I used 13 of the 28 sheets from the 8 by 8, and I used 24 of 28 of the 12 by 12. So this is, like I said, this is a very extensive album. It has a lot to it, being 8.5 by 8.5 inches, with a total of, there's 5 pages in here, making a total of 10, and they're all interactive. The twine that you see on the front I've used is from the store as well. And in my shaker box, I have a few different things in there in addition to the Shimmers Splash shaker elements. And then there's several sets of the basic gray small magnets in here. So as far as my solid cardstocks here, my lining, my matting for the cover, spine, and back, as well as the 2 inside covers, was done using the linen artisan cardstock. The back mat is navy artisan cardstock. And then I've used some lighter weight ivory that was, like I said, just a little bit lighter weight on parts of it from my stash, as well as some navy from my stash. And I've also used, the base is all done in the artisan craft cardstock, as well as this die cut element here. I've wrapped a piece of chipboard here on the front that was done with the artisan, and there's a few other elements inside, different photo mats and such that I use. So I did use close to an entire pack of the 12 by 12 artisan cardstock in craft. So I want to start by showing you the cover. So the cover, I have this fun little shaker element, as you see, and I have backed that with chipboard to make that. And I've also put a couple die cuts here. One is a seam there. I'm probably getting a glare, so hopefully you can see that. And then I have some rope that I had in my stash. This is just a fun little thing. I added around the outside and then cut the ends so they frayed down here. I have these are Prima flowers that are from the shop, the Country Craft Creations shop. I have some other Prima aqua flower here that I had in my stash. This wooden button is from my stash. I have tons of buttons. And then I've used some actual real shells on the cover here as well. Like I said, this is a wrapped chipboard piece that I put, and I actually utilized the cover sheet of the paper collection. As you can see, I have the 8 by 8 right here in front of me. I cut this out to make this because I just love that. And I am a big lover of the beach, and I'm telling you, if you are a lover of the beach or have a family member or friend you would need to give a gift to, this is the paper. It is absolutely gorgeous. So on my spine, this is another, this is a blue, this was done in the navy blue artisan cardstock, and that is a wrapped piece of chipboard, and I've added some rope to that as well. I have this little shaker, or excuse me, this little charm element. This, I took a little jar that I had in my stash, one of these little, I'm not quite sure what they call them. I think they're from Tim Holtz. And I just wrapped some jute around there. I put some E6000 on the cork just to make sure it stayed closed. Put some sand and pebbles in there. And then we have this fun little turtle. And I have a shell, a seahorse, and a starfish on there. And then this is just, these are both elements that I had in my stash. They're Ideology. This is a loop pin from Tim Holtz. And then this one, I'm not quite sure what these are called, but it's like a little door knocker, and it's a brad that goes through, and then you just cover it with paper. So that is that. And then on my back side, you can see here, what I've done for a closure is I have a rivet that I've put in there, or a grommet. I'm not quite sure if that's what they call them. And I have some stretchy black string from my stash. And that just wraps around. And I actually sewed and glued this button to my cover. So, and I don't have a tutorial on that or the cover at all. I like to leave the covers to your imagination. You can mimic mine by looking at it, or you can do your own thing. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take my charm off. One of the reasons I like to use these loop pins is because you can, if you don't want to put a hole in your spine, you could put a bow. I've done this before where I take a bow and I glue that to my spine, and then I can use these loop pins and just slip it through. But this time I wanted the little hanging, and I can remove this, which I'm going to do so it doesn't clank around while I show you the inside of the album. So let's start. We'll open this up. And first thing you're going to see is this large angled pocket that I created using a method that Tamara has used in the past. And I also used by watching her. She did it on her 4th of July album that she did. And then I did this in my Majestic Dreams album. And it's just collaging the paper. And then it's a, like I said, this is 8.5 by 8.5 with a 3-inch spine. So we have lots and lots of room. I did make my stretchy cord long enough to accommodate. And I also have lots of room in here to play. This is a bifold photo mat that just opens this way. We have lots of room for photos here and here. I can tell you that this, if you are following along or you want to make the same similar thing, this is 7.5 by 7.5. And it has the decorative paper on it. And then on the inside, I just used a lightweight ivory. And the covers that I've put on each page are 7.25 by 7.25. And then I just embellished it here with this navy blue die cut. And I wanted to show you, so I have, let me just grab a piece of paper here so I can show you. I adhered this to my cover. This is completely adhered down. It's one of the die cuts. But I made this so that you could slip something in here if you wanted to. I just glued the top of that rather than gluing the whole thing. So then we have this fun page. So this is a magnet closure. We have this beautiful scene here. This opens up, lots of room for photos here. Opens up again, lots of room here for photos, or you could clip something to this. There's just lots and lots of room, and a big area here for photos as well. And then that just magnets closed. Our next spread here is a 2-page spread. I did these on purpose, coordinating them. So we have two, these I believe are, let me just tell you, I used a heavy weight, like 110 pound ivory cardstock from my stash to make these. You could also use the artisan cardstock. It's a little lighter, but it will still work for photo mats. So these are 7.5 by 7.5 as well, and there's just a strip on the back, and these can go in either way. I like them this way, and those just slide in our little pockets, and I made sure that this all coordinated. I just love this imagery, as you can tell. I repeated this image from my cover here. I love this. So then on the next page here, we have another fun little system. So we have two flaps here that they're magnets, and those come open, and that opens to these two pockets. These fun little scenes are cut from the paper. And then in here, we have two 6 by 7 photo mats that fit in these pockets. And these are just tuck pockets, so they're just glued around the edges rather than using gussets. And then those open up again, and hopefully you can see everything here. If I just pick the book up here, and you can see all of that. And I use the beach paper here, so you have all this room for photos and mementos. It's just super, super fun. So our next page here, this one is super fun as well. So I have this nice little flip using one of the 3x4 cut-aparts, 2 pockets, and I have 2 small photo mats using the artisan craft, as well as the heavyweight ivory that I had in my stash. And these are 4.5 by 4.5, and they fit in these nice little tuck spots. And the background of this was collaged with some of my scraps. I wanted to utilize as much of the paper as I possibly could. So I have 4 different sheets of paper here cut out. And then that is just put on there like so. I also will tell you, I did put some strips of scrap in the middle of each one of my 1/2-inch space, just for a more finished look. Here we have a really fun gatefold page. So this is also a magnet. We have a magnet in our bar here, and this is attached to here. So you have room for photos here. This comes open this way. And we have a belly band inside with a fun little 4x6 bifold, as well as a full, this one, I do believe, just double check for you. I don't want to give you the wrong measurements. This is a 7.5 by 7.5, and you can put this in either way. So this portion was taken from the 8x8, and this bigger background is from the 12x12. I like it this way. You can put it in the other way, or you can use different paper entirely. And that belly band there just has this nice amount of space. I could even put more in here if I wanted to. You just have to be mindful of your magnets, making sure the magnet closure is for this only. So the thicker this gets, it may cause a little bit of an issue with your magnet. So this page spread here also opens up, and you would think that this was a pocket, but it's not. So we have our fun photo mat here. And this one is another 7.5 by 7.5. I've done this one with the beach scene and then just a strip of it on the back. So this could go in either way. And we have this nice pocket here that coordinates. Now this side, make sure I'm getting this all in the camera so you can see this. This is all magneted. So we have magnets at the top and the bottom. You open this up, you have more room here, and then this opens again to this fun collaged area. And you can add photos here as well. So just lots and lots of space for photos. And then our page 10 here, this one I used the 4x6 cut aparts, and I mounted those onto 4.25 by 6 3/4 pieces of the Artisan Craft. Scored those at 1/2 inch on the top, and then those went in like so. And then underneath you have this fun tuck pocket with another photo mat that is 5.25 by 5.25, and with this fun little pocket back here. And that just slips in. And I like to finish my my little gussets here. And since there was no way really to slide those in, I covered them with the same paper. So that's that. Now finally on our back here, I did a double pocket system. This is where our stretchy cord comes in if you're doing this type of a closure. And this allows for so many different types of inserts. So I have a few different of the 3x4s. I have 3 of those in here, different bifolds that you can use. And then I have 2 larger. One of these is 4 3/4 by 4 3/4 using a heavy, like I said, this is a super heavy 110-pound ivory cardstock. And then I used some navy, some of the die cuts, and then some paper scraps that I had left over. And one of these, like I said, is 4 3/4 by 4 3/4, and this one is 5 by 5. And you just put those in there. It's just a lot of fun to make these different types of inserts for your pockets. And then you can use these. You could put a gift card in one of these and sneak it in there if you're giving it as a gift. Just super, super fun. So, and then the back is just the regular back side here. It is the flip side of this paper. So when you turn this over, you get this paper here. And then I just banded that on. So that is my By the Seaside album. Like I said, I do have a tutorial in Edit, and I will be showing you how to make all of the pages and how to make all the folds and the different things. Like I said, I do not have a tutorial on the cover or on the lay flat method itself that I use to make the album. There are several of those out there. I will actually link that under this video for you, and then you can get your album started if you have this paper, or if you don't, grab it because it's amazing paper. It's beautiful. So that's my walkthrough. I hope you've enjoyed it. Have a wonderful day.